What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Trailer Park Boys Don't Legalize It. So out of the three feature-length Trailer Park Boys movies, this is the only one that's not currently on Netflix. So I just picked this up on DVD on eBay. There's the front, there's the back. And yeah, this is available on Blu-ray as well, but I'm kind of like cheap, so I was like, I like Blu-rays, but I just thought, hey, what the heck, it's a little cheaper, I'll just pick it up on DVD. I don't really care either way. So, I don't think I've seen this one before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a first time watch. I don't know. I've said this in the other Trailer Park Boys reviews that I did. I watched the show like crazy back in the day, and I just rewatched it. But yeah, I don't recall if I've seen this before. I'm pretty sure I have not. But yeah, this movie was extremely solid. It was a solid Trailer Park Boys feature film. It hit all the marks. It did everything that I would want a Trailer Park Boys movie to do. So yeah, I enjoyed myself, and I'm glad I checked this out because I believe when I reviewed the second Trailer Park Boys movie, I was still rewatching the show, and since then I finished rewatching the show. I watched every season, and I watched the specials. I watched the Out of the Park stuff, which I thought was really good. I don't know what the general consensus is with the Out of the Park episodes, but I thought those were pretty darn good. The only stuff that I didn't really get into is the Trailer Park Boys live. I couldn't really get into that, but yeah, I finished rewatching the show. I watched the Out of the Park stuff, so I had to kind of be a completist, and I had to watch the last feature length movie. So I'm glad I did, because it was very enjoyable. But now that I've given you all my overall opinion, I'm gonna jump into a little plot summary here. So the movie starts out, and pretty much everyone from the park is gathered at the dump, and we learn that Ray passed away, so they're having a funeral for him at the dump. Leahy does not believe that Ray passed away. He thinks it's like a hoax or a scam. So yeah, the movie starts out. They're at this funeral. Of course, Ricky's extremely upset, and kind of all of the main three characters are down bad. Which usually at the start of a movie or start of the season, they're always down bad. It's like they're fresh out of jail, they have no money, blah blah blah. Like they always start out pretty down bad, and they have to come up with some scheme to make a little money. So in this movie, they're not fresh out of jail, but they all went to jail like a couple years ago, and they haven't really bounced back, So Bubbles, he's real down bad. He's drinking Swish, which, I mean, that's not cool. I mean, everyone knows like Swish will mess you up, but that's not a good look. Like, you got to be down. Like, we all know, like when Julian was down bad, he was like in the alley eating pizza crusts off the ground, hanging with alley dogs, drinking Swish. Is not a good look. So Bubbles, he's drinking Swish. He's living under J-Rock's trailer. He doesn't even have a shed anymore. He's living under J-Rock's trailer, and this fool has been living there for 2 years. J-Rock keeps like reiterating, he's like, 2 years! Like, he's been here 2 years, MF. So yeah, Bubbles is down bad. He's just like delivering chicken and liquor because he can't get a job. He's not doing his shopping carts, unfortunately. That's usually his main gig, you know, his little shopping cart side hustle, but he's not doing that. He doesn't have like a little like kitten watching business going on. So yeah, he's down bad. He's just delivering chicken. Not a good look. Ricky's actually doing kind of well. He has like a pretty big grow op, and it's outside of the park. Like this fool probably has at least 30 plants, a whole like hydroponic setup. It's outside of the park. It can't be touched. So he's doing pretty well. I mean, he hasn't sold it yet in the beginning of the movie, but you know, he's doing well. And Julian is kind of doing iffy. He was a bouncer, but he got humiliated, so he quit. And now he has this big plan to like sell all this clean piss to people for drug tests. So that's his little business he has going. And you know, it works out where all of the characters, they need to go on the road for a different reason. Julian has to go because he has this big deal to sell all his clean piss. Ricky, earlier in the movie, finds out that weed is going to be legalized, so he wants to go to Ottawa, I believe, and there's this like government hearing, and he wants to speak against weed being legalized, so you know, of course, he can still make money. And then Bubbles, earlier in the movie, finds out that his parents have passed away, and they left him some land and a house, so he has to claim that right away. So, you know, he has to go on the road, and all of the boys, they don't initially all want to go on the road together. Like Julian doesn't really want to ride with Ricky and stuff, but they end up all going on the road together. And while they're on the road, Mr. Leahy is following them with Randy, and he's trying to plant drugs in their car, or on the bottom of their car, so because he wants Ricky to get arrested. So that's the basic plot summary. So the first point that I want to get into is I think all the drama in this movie and the heartfelt moments were really good. You know, of course, this is for the most part a comedy series, but there's always a couple moments that tug on your heartstrings, which people, like, if you explain this show to people, they probably wouldn't expect those moments. They would just be like, oh, this is just some crazy outlandish show where they, you know, get high all the time and they just commit crimes. And it's like, yes, that is a big part of it, but like, it's also about this, you know, it's about their friendship, you know, and they're pretty much family. So there was a lot of very heartfelt moments regarding that. Like, you know, Bubbles' parents passed, and you know, Ricky, you know, Ricky's dad passed, so Ricky and Bubbles are kind of relating to each other on that, and kind of giving each other support. And there's some instances where, you know, they're driving, and you know, it's like Ricky and Julian are in the front two seats, and Bubbles is in the back, and they're like, you know, like, what if he leaves? I love him, man. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I hope he doesn't leave. And Bubbles is in the back, and he can hear him. And then there is one point when like, Bubbles might or might not stay at this house that was given to him by his parents. And when they're saying goodbye to Bubbles, it is such a dramatic tug at your strings heart sequence. I know I'm talking about Trailer Park Boys here, and people might think I'm insane for saying like this scene in the third Trailer Park Boys movie tugs at your heartstrings, but it really does. Like, they just, they really do emphasize like their friendship, and they're not even like friends. They're like family. So I really liked all the dramatic moments. Those were really good. I love the friendship between Ricky, Bubbles, and Julian. I mean, that's why, part of the reason why I love the show. I mean, of course I love the comedy, but I love that about the show. It's awesome. Another thing that I liked about this movie is you actually have quite a bit of J-Rock. So I reviewed the first two Trailer Park Boys movies a while back, so I don't remember everything about them. I feel like one of the movies either did not have J-Rock at all, or he was only in extremely briefly. This movie has a lot of J-Rock. I mean, even like regardless of the movies, J-Rock is more of a side character, and he's not always in all the episodes that much. Like there's some episodes, he's not even in, and he's not in like the last season and stuff. So, you don't always get that much J-Rock, but when he comes through, he's so funny, and I really like that they had J-Rock in here for quite a bit, and he was just on point. Like he was doing his typical J-Rock isms. He had his he was just extremely funny. Like he was like dating Sarah in this, and then he kept talking about like, oh, all my B words, like she's my best B word, and he's like saying it in front of her, and she's just looking at him like, call me bitch one more time. Like that was funny. He in the later seasons, he has this thing where he's like, huh, and he was doing that in this a little bit. I just think I don't know why, but I think that's really funny. He's like, you know what I'm saying, huh, and I don't know. It's just like, it's just a funny little J-Rockism. I like that. And then in this movie, he's just like constantly referring to other white people as like this white boy. He's like, oh, this white boy here, he's about to buy a bag off me. Oh yeah, I'm just talking to this white boy around the corner. Like I don't know. It's just that type of stuff is really funny about his character. That's just like, yeah, he's always on point. So it was cool to see a lot more J-Rock in this movie, and he totally killed it. Another thing that I thought was really awesome and really funny is I said earlier in the plot summary that Mr. Leahy and Randy, they're following the boys because they want to plant cocaine on them, and one thing leads to another, and of course Leahy's gonna try the cocaine, and he just gets like completely addicted, and there's so many little funny sequences related to that. Like he's just straight up fiending, and I just think that's so funny because I don't think at any of, well, yeah, I know, like at no other point in the series was Leahy like ever addicted to coke, but like if he tried it, he would be extremely addicted, because I mean, of course, you all know how he is with alcohol and stuff. So it was just, I wasn't laughing. I was almost like coughing. I got a bad little respiratory thing. Excuse me. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. It was unique. Like he hasn't been on that stuff, throughout the series, and I just think like any drug or substance, he would just go crazy with, and it's just so funny to see him. He's like sniffing it off, cause like Randy pours it out. He's like sniffing it off the car. He's sniffing it off Randy's underwear, and these like older people walk in and they're just shocked. So I really like that. I thought that was like just a funny little aspect of the movie. And then I got one more thing here on my notes, and it's kind of a negative, but I mean, I really enjoyed the entire movie overall. This is just a slight thing that I personally noticed. So in my opinion, uh, this movie was a little bit had like a little bit more of a serious tone than the other ones, and there was comedy in this, and it was extreme. Like all the comedy was extremely funny, but I feel like this movie compared to the other ones uh, had less comedy and definitely had more of a serious tone, which I like more of a comedic tone with the Trailer Park Boys movie. You know, this really it didn't really like hinder my enjoyment of the movie that much, the more serious tone. But, you know, do I wish there was a little bit more of a comedic tone and a little bit more comedy in this movie? Yes, because I think both of the other ones had a little bit more comedy, but mainly the first Trailer Park Boys movie had a lot more comedy. That I really like the tone of the first Trailer Park Boys movie. Like it kind of hits all the marks of the series, and it has just it's just laugh out loud funny. So um, I think this movie, it would have been cool if it had a little bit more comedy, but it did have fantastic comedic sequences, and the comedy was on point. So I'm not disappointed, but that was just something that I was thinking while I was watching it. So that's the last thing that I had on my notes. So I'm gonna get into a recommendation, and then I'm gonna head out here. So, I'm a big fan of the series. I'm a fan of the other two feature-length Trailer Park Boys movies, and I was a fan of this. It was an extremely solid movie. It was a super solid third entry. It was entertaining. It was funny. You had some good heartfelt moments. So if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, I would say check this out. You know, it's not on Netflix. I would say this is worth picking up on Blu-ray or DVD. So, you know, I think I picked mine up for like $7 or $10 or something like that. So it's like I got it on eBay. You could find it on eBay or Amazon really cheap. So I that was like a thing. I almost coughed again, but it seemed like I was laughing. Excuse me. I probably look like a freak. But anyways, yeah. I would recommend it. You know, it's definitely worth picking up. Super solid entry. You can't go wrong. So yeah, that's my little recommendation. Um, I'm gonna head out here in a sec. I just want to say thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.